Hello and welcome to Spotlight. I'm your host Kat Siggers, and before we get into the interview, I just wanted to let you guys in on a new skill I've been learning recently, and that is paddleboarding. Now, I'm not one with the water. I never have been, I probably never will be, but I really wanted to learn this new skill. I think it looks so cool, and to just be out in a lake or an ocean just seems fabulous. I made the first mistake of trying to learn paddleboarding in the sea for the first time, or the ocean, and it was an absolute complete flop because I went out like maybe 2 times and I was like, I don't know, I'm not getting the hang of this, like paddling, essentially turning myself around, right? I'm just not getting the hang of it. I cannot turn myself because the current was so strong. So anyway, I go out a 3rd time and I'm like, okay, right, I'm gonna do it this time. I end up paddling. I'm like, great, this is wonderful. I don't realize that the current is taking me like all the way out to sea, like the middle area that always looks a little bit darker than the rest of it. Kind of scares me. So I look back and my partner is just like a teeny tiny dot, and it scares the living daylights out of me. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I'm panicking here, literally almost about to have a full-on panic attack because I cannot turn this thing around for love nor money. So I end up turning myself around, paddling, like trying my best to turn it. I get facing the shore the right way around and I end up paddling to shore. My partner is there with a video camera, which is always fun. I say video camera, I'm really aging myself now. I mean like an iPhone. And I was like, get that thing out my face. It was terrible. I was not in a good mood. But I then tried it again because I got off and I was like, oh man, I really want to learn this. So I tried it again and I went on to a lake this time, and it was much calmer, much better. I actually got the hang of it and I can turn around now and I can stop myself. Haven't been able to stand up yet, but I am actually learning to paddleboard instead of oh God, I don't even know what that was the first time I tried. Who knows? But the next time I got in it, I was so proud of myself because I could have just gotten really scared and not done it again. But it gave me such a sense of freedom. And I think when you try something for the first time, something that's maybe a little bit scary, you're showing yourself that you have courage. And then when you try it for a second time, you're showing your character because you're showing that actually you won't be defeated on the first round. You will get back up and try again and again until you succeed. And that's kind of what I like to travel through in life. So yeah, that's my bit of wisdom and knowledge for the day. Stepping into the spotlight today is someone who is truly doing it all. She's a singer, an actress, and a total creative force. It is the wonderful Meg Donnelly. From starring as Addison in Disney's hit Zombies, to dropping fresh tracks and a brand new EP this June, Meg is making waves in both the music and acting worlds. We're diving into her latest projects, her creative process, and what's next. So, let's get into it. So Meg, your new EP, Dying Art, is dropping on the 20th of June. How exciting. Can you please give us like a little sneak peek into like either the vibe or the theme of this one?
Yeah, the whole theme, it's kind of about a dying art. I think in music, it's very challenging, especially with like having to post all the time and thinking about what I want my live performance to be, because I feel like when I like make music, it's always to perform live, and I feel like a lot of that art has kind of gone away. So yeah, I think it's kind of just about dying art. It's kind of about the music industry as a whole. Like, I think the EP is a bunch of different, it's pop all the way through, but there is a bunch of different influences of like my music. It's not just one like specific pop genre, I guess. And then it's kind of just like, an ode to the music industry of like, I don't want to be put in some sort of a box. I just want to make whatever music I want to make. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. It's kind of like a bit revolutionary as well.
Yeah,
like I love when people create stuff that is for a reason, for a cause, like whether it's to, make a point about the music industry or feminism or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I love that because that's what art is for, really, isn't it? You know, it's to make a point. It's to share your opinion on something and to share your, I suppose, feelings towards it. I love that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You've been doing a lot of Instagram and YouTube, like behind the scenes stuff lately. Is that in kind of conjunction then with what you've been saying about music becoming a dying art, I suppose? Maybe I've got that wrong.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, I think some of the stuff that was really fun to do, kind of like in the like dying like art form kind of thing, because I've like always done acting, and I feel like this is the first time I'm kind of stepping into music. So we thought it'd be really fun to do like audition series. So it's like every song on the EP is like auditioning to be on the EP. So because I know for music and for promotion, like, you know, posting and social media is very important, I guess, for any medium now, to be honest. But especially for music, because it's all just about you and what you want, which is something that I, you know, with acting, it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to be a blank slate and nobody has to know who I am really. And I'm going to, you know, kind of wear other people's clothes and say other people's lines, which is so fulfilling and so incredible. But music is way more like, this is me, and like, this is what I wear, and this is what I do, and like, this is my name, and da, da, da. So it was like really scary to me because it's just so like all about you. And I feel like I have a hard time like posting that. So I was like, what's a fun way that I could promote the music, but it feels also like an art form? You know, it's not just like me like lip syncing and stuff, because those like, oh, it's so hard to do. So then so we created like the audition tapes, where it's like kind of combining like acting and singing. And then I've been posting a bunch of BTS stuff as well, like aside from the audition tapes, just like in general, and just trying to record as much behind the scenes as possible, and I guess kind of show that, you know, it's really fun and it's very fulfilling, but it also is really difficult, and it's not like, I guess, as easy as it seems. So
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it's really interesting that you've taken that kind of concept of auditioning as well. I kind of love that. Because then you're blending your two forms, essentially, your two you know, ways of self-expression, I suppose, as well. You know, you're blending your two mediums is the right word I think I wanted to use. I love that so much, because I don't think that's ever been done. Not that I know of, anyway.
Of blending acting and singing. Yeah, I don't.
No, sorry, I mean the audition thing.
The
audition as a part of the.
Yeah, I don't think so. I feel like there's definitely been like audition, like, I don't know, like music videos and like concepts and stuff. But yeah, I thought like auditioning every single song on the EP would just be, really fun and different. Kind of like.
And do you take any of your kind of acting influence into your music? I know you said just a minute ago that, you know, as a musician, you very much have to be you, and that kind of is very different to acting, where you're stepping into someone else's shoes. Do the two kind of ever blend?
Yeah, definitely. I think with songs like even like the song Dying Art, that's like the last song on the EP, or songs that are more emotional, like Strangers too, that's on the EP as well. Like I think acting really helps kind of like play, even though like the song is very personal, and I'm like writing in the room with like talented writers, and we're like, you know, just talking about life, and, you know, like it feels very personal anyways. But I feel like when it actually comes down to recording, I think making sure that like there's like, you know, a beginning, middle, end of the song, and like it's almost like voice acting in a way, because I'm like, how do I portray all the emotion that I'm feeling like through like the singing, which I think a lot of singers can do and do 100%. But I think the acting helps me personally, because I feel like I can, you know, convey the emotion that I'm trying to convey by playing kind of like the scene, or like what the song is, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, that's the only way I can sing, is by acting. I am a terrible singer. You're a fabulous one, and
No,
I honestly,
I'm
no.
a great singer. You're selling yourself short.
Absolutely not. But when I was training, my musical theatre teacher said to me that it's a good job you're such a great actor. I was like, okay, okay. He was like, you can act your way through any song. I was like, okay, that's you telling me that I'm
Wow.
not okay, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
When I
Harsh
was
truth.
younger, when I was in PE class, like running,
Mm.
my teacher was like, "Wow, you have no stamina." And I thought that was a compliment because I was like 8 and I was like, "Thank you.
Thanks
I
so
appreciate
much
it." Yeah.
that for me.
Yeah, no stamina.
No, none whatsoever. How funny is that? Let's talk a little bit about your writing process now, or like your creative process as a whole, because as we've just discussed, I'm not that musically inclined. So I have literally no clue. How do you kind of start off writing a song, and maybe in particular Dying Art, like how did that all kind of start? Did it come from a concept, a lyric?
Yeah, it really depends on the session and kind of how, like, the writers and producers in the room too like to work. I kind of am whatever the vibe is that day. I feel like music is definitely more of, like, a feeling as well, because like, sometimes you go into a session, you're like, "We're gonna make 2 songs today, and we're rocking and rolling," and sometimes you, like, don't even get a chorus. Like, I think it really just depends on, like, what the vibe is that day and how
Mhm.
everyone's feeling. So I think for dying art specifically, I a lot of times in sessions too, I have so many concepts just in my notebook and my phone. I'm just constantly writing stuff down that I'm overthinking all the time. And one of them was kind of this concept of dying art. I knew I wanted the EP to be called Dying Art um, for a while because I can't remember where I was talking about it, and I was just like, I think it would be a really cool concept at the end, like to have all of these songs that I've been working on for the past like 3 years, 4 years, and then to have it kind of like all come together in this like song. And so for a while, it was just like the song was just empty, like it wasn't made yet, and I was like, okay, I need to make it. So yeah, in the studio, it was kind of that was more of a concept where I came in and I was like, I want to write about this, like kind of just being like, why am I in the industry? Like, my cat, sorry. Am I good
I
enough?
love it.
Am I good enough?
What's your cat's name? Sorry,
Gibby.
just to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
Oh, so cute. We always have a little animal appearance on this show, honestly.
Yeah,
Everyone's always like, sorry about my cat, sorry about my dog.
yeah.
We're yet to have an exotic animal, but
I
there's
know
still
it'd be
time.
cool if it was like a snake or a lizard just like came by.
I
That
know,
would be
literally. Like,
terrifying.
sorry about him. Can
Yeah,
you
sorry.
imagine?
It's like a giraffe. Sorry about him. Um,
Sorry. Can't keep him in his pen.
what was it? Oh yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're so good. Yeah, that was the Gibby's fault. Yeah, and I think with dying art, it was like a specific concept. So I kind of wanted to write about being in the industry, kind of like why am I in this industry? Am I good enough? Am I just like wasting my time for a dying art? And like, am I kind of good enough for this? Yeah, so that's kind of what the concept was about, and it was something that I've always wanted to write about and kind
Mm.
of express, and I think it really came out great. So I'm really really happy with it. So that's yeah, but the writing process depends on like if I come in and like I want to write about this concept or it's kind of like, oh, I want to write more of like a fun song, and then the
Yeah.
production starts it, and then we go from there. It kind of just like
Great.
depends. Yeah.
Oh. It seems it seems deeply personal,
Yeah.
like the songwriting process,
Hmm.
and especially like the song the new one that's coming out.
Yeah.
Um, there was actually one song that in particular really struck me. It was your song By My Heart.
Oh yeah.
And some of the lyrics, I'm going to quote your own lyrics back to you.
Okay.
You say, so how can they set their opinions about me before they know me? And when they throw dirt on my name, will it change who I am in your mind?
Mm.
Now, that made me go, wow, oh my Lord. Because I think you don't think of the fact that, you know, as yourself, a celebrity, someone who is in the public eye, you know, you have a preconceived idea of who they are before you meet them.
Yeah.
What, I suppose, was that a statement to the press? Was it just an expression of your feelings about being in the public eye? Like, that's such a bold statement and such a beautiful statement to make as well, because I think it's like, don't judge a book by its cover. You know, you don't know what's underneath. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of a comment to like, you know, just in general, to the press, to people. I think, yeah, I think being in this industry, I think anybody can relate to it. I feel like, like, I think when I was younger, and especially when I moved out to LA when I was young, and I was like just starting in American Housewife and Zombie, so I was like 16, 17, like I still do care about what people think, for sure. But when I was younger, it was like really debilitating. And like when I would hear, you know, things about me that weren't true, or, you know, trying to make friends, and people, like, you know, kids are so cliquey, and it's like I would take everything so personally and be like, you know, yeah. So I think I've always struggled with caring about what people think. I think it's definitely gotten easier with age. I think it just does. Like, I think in general, it just does. But especially in the industry, with like looking at comments and all that stuff, you kind of learn that you just can't look at those things. But sometimes, like, you know, obviously in, you know, your moments where you're like, I'll be fine, I'm just going to look at them, and it never goes over well. But yeah, people have no idea who you are, what your character is, like, yeah, anything about you really. And because of what you're posting and what your art is, like, they just constantly make assumptions about you. And I think sometimes that's hard it's like freeing of like, oh, like, people don't really know who I am, so I can be whatever I want to be. Like, that lens is great. And then sometimes the lens is like, oh, that's really awful, and I wish I could prove to everybody all these things, but I'm like, why am I proving to people that I don't know, like, who I am? Yeah, so I think I've struggled with that a lot. And even just not in the public eye, but just with like people in general. I think as you grow up, it's like friendships like come and go, and, you know, things change, and it's really hard to deal with those seasons. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think everyone can relate to it, you know, with social media, as influential as it is. Oh, I'm loving this. I'm loving this little tail coming in. It's so
Yeah,
cute.
she's right here looking at something through the window, but
she's like, sorry, I just wanted to get on camera for a moment. You're always on camera, and it's actually really annoying. It's like, hi, I'm here. So cute.
Yeah.
Sorry. So yeah, social media, it's like, you know, we're all judged to a certain degree, and I think you're you know, you're at the higher end of that, because you're, you know, in the public eye so much more people know who you are. So I think it's, you know, it's important to talk about that, because I think with all great art, you know, if you can identify with what someone has said, it kind of makes you feel seen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I feel like that was like 100% my goal. I think with a lot of the music and a lot of the stuff that I talk about just in general is like making people feel less alone and seen, especially like with things like being in the industry or By My Heart's, like a lot of it's like kind of mental health related. Because that's something I struggle with a lot. And I feel like it was so isolating, and it feels really scary dealing with all of it by yourself. At least, even though you have friends and family, all of that stuff, it's like it still feels really isolating, because you feel like nobody is going through what you're going through. So yeah, just to like, you know, constantly talk about it or post about it and put it in mediums that's like online, and hopefully people, especially kids, like, I think need it the most. Like, hopefully they can see it and feel seen. Yeah.
Definitely. That's what I say. I say the best art makes people feel seen and heard, you know?
Yeah.
That's it. Let's bring it up to a more catchier note, I suppose, a more vibrant note. Dancing around.
Yeah.
What a vibe. What a vibe. I was dancing in my living room to it. I was like, this is fabulous.
Thank you.
So what was the inspiration for that? Because to me, I got a little bit of like the 80s vibe. What was the inspiration?
Yeah, literally, in the session I went in and I was like, I really want to like just make my own version of You Can Do Magic by America. I don't know if do you know the
Oh
song?
my God, of course I know
Like
that
you
song.
can do magic. Yeah,
I love it.
I like really right now like love yacht rock.
Mhm.
It's like I don't even know if it's like a real genre, but it's like yeah, just rock music you'd listen to on a yacht, and it's very like America the band
Oh,
vibes. Um, and I was like, I really just want to like create a song that um has that vibe because it's so good and so groovy and like and the synths and dancing around I feel like make it feel like very 80s and like
definitely.
dancey. Yeah, and so that was kind of the inspiration. I just wanted to make like a yacht rock song, and then it kind of turned into like a little bit more upbeat and a little bit more like girly and fun. And yeah, I love it. So that was really the whole inspiration, was just making a yacht rock
Yeah.
song and bringing that nostalgic sound back. Yeah.
Definitely. It's so good to hear that sound, because a lot of times now, you don't often hear it unless you're listening to older music.
Right.
So it's great to have that kind of vibe back. Bring more of it, please.
Yes.
Um, let's talk about acting.
Okay.
Okay, and I know that Zombies 4 is
Mhm.
coming out in July, and you are back as Addison.
Mhm.
What can you tease about this chapter of her story, if
Mm.
anything?
Yeah, I mean, she like where we pick off it's Zed Addison, Eliza Willa, some of the OGs from the movies before, and they're at college, and Zed and
Okay.
Addison are just really trying hard to catch up with the college because it's really pristine and elite, and they're kind of like, like new fish in new water, fish out of water, small fish in a big pond, whatever the saying
I
is.
got you.
You know what I
I
mean?
got you.
And so yeah, and then they kind of stumble upon on their way back from college on this like group of people, two groups of people that are like fighting, and it's very similar to like how what they went through in all the movies. And so
Oh,
they're just trying to help and be, little counselors to these kids that are kind of dealing with the same stuff they did before. So it's really cute, and I'm really excited for people to see it because it looks so beautiful. We filmed it in New Zealand,
oh,
which is
wow.
just like the most magical place on earth, and I cannot suggest it enough for people to go.
Oh,
'Cause
cool.
it's just so incredible, and it just makes the movie feel so magical and just like big and elevated. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is a must watch then,
Yeah.
100%. Was it nice to kind of return to that kind of familiar world? Of course, you were in New Zealand, which is probably unfamiliar territory to
Yeah.
you, but was it nice to return with like a similar cast and potentially a similar crew?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, having like Milo, Chandler, and Kylie there was just really cool. And I mean, it's been almost 10 years now that like we did the first one, and so we're all just like super close. And then having all the new kids come in, they're just so talented and so wonderful, and like it was really cool to and really emotional actually, kind of being able to like pass the torch to them and see how excited they are. And they're like this around the same age that we were on Zombies 1, and some on Zombies 2. So it was just really nostalgic to just like kind of go through those emotions again of like, wow, like we are the adults. This is insane.
Oh
And
my gosh.
it was really, really, really cool. And I think a lot of times as well, like at least I can speak for myself. I won't even speak for anybody else. Like I downplay like Zombies a lot in my head of kind of like, oh, it was so fun and I love it, and I'm so like grateful for it. But
Mhm.
just kind of being with the kids and just seeing like how much these movies like meant to them, and like how like with like younger kids, like how it really
Yeah.
is like a big deal, was just, I actually can't fathom it still. But yeah, it was just kind of wild to experience that. So I feel like I was really emotional the whole time because I was like, wow, this is like, I don't think I
Yeah.
get to think about this stuff often, you know? So
Yeah, yeah, the impact that you're having on
yeah.
audiences, and yeah, because it's so far removed as well, you know.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you know, you finish shooting and then it's like months, sometimes a year down the line, and then you're like, oh yeah, I did that thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and you kind of, you don't, yeah, you don't get that immediate feedback, I suppose, of how it
Yeah,
made people feel.
no. And to me, it's just like really fun movies that I did with like all of my closest
Yeah.
friends, and we just had a blast. And yeah, sometimes like not, I actually don't, but I guess like the feeling, like I forget that they're like actually movies that that people watch and not just like memories of mine, you know? Um,
Yeah, yeah,
so
absolutely.
it's really cool.
Well,
Yeah.
I suppose, you know, at the end of the day, it's your job, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So you kind of don't go into it with the intention of, oh, somebody's going to watch this. You just go
Yeah.
in and like, another day at the office, you
Yeah.
know, sort of, well, not another day at the office is much more fun than that, I'm
Right,
sure.
right. Yeah, it's a
But
pretty
yeah.
cool office.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I'm going to take you back to a little bit more nostalgia now. Let's talk
Yeah.
about American Housewife.
Yeah.
And I would love to know, what is your favorite memory from working on it?
Oh my gosh, it's so wild because I haven't talked about American Housewife in so long, and now feel like a lot of my social media is all like American Housewife based, and like I don't know
Okay.
where it's coming from, but I'm like so happy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, favorite memory. There's so many. We had like the best time on set, and we're such a family. I'm
Hmm.
trying to think. Literally the first thing that popped in my head, so I'll just say it because there's so many. When I
Okay.
graduated high school in like 2018, they like threw a graduation for me on set because I didn't have like a real one because I was a set kid. Um,
Oh my gosh,
so they
that's
all like
so
threw me a little
cute.
graduation. They got like a little cap and gown, and they all said, um, "Yeah, congrats." And we
Oh,
had like a
that's so
little like
lovely.
grad party. Yeah, that I think that was during season 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah, really, or 3. I don't know. But yeah, it was really sweet. And yeah, all of the crew on American House Life like didn't change at all really. So like for 5, 6 years, like we were all just like
The same.
together. And I feel like a lot of the reason why like who I am today is because of the crew. Um, and the cast as well. But yeah, I feel like they raised me in a way. So
Oh, wow. That's
yeah.
so meaningful, isn't it, really, when you think about it?
Yeah.
Ah, that's lovely. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Of course.
I
Thanks for
love
having
that.
me.
I think, you know, it's because you do become a little bit of a family, don't you, as
Yes. Yeah.
well? You
Yeah,
know, so
especially like being because we were filming in LA, which was like home base for a lot of people, which is so rare now because now everything films outside of LA. And so I feel like it was really cool because it really felt like our like 9 to 5 job, like
yeah,
it, and not in like a like way, in like a
yeah.
like we all like went there, we like worked all day, and then we went home to like our actual homes, like we weren't like filming somewhere
Wow.
else. So it just was really cool because it really did feel like coworker, like family vibes, because like we were all home, and so we were all like a family in that way because like we weren't like in a bubble. I always call it the bubble life. Like when you go away to like New Zealand for like 3 months, you
Mm,
know, you become so close in those situations just in a different way. But I feel like this was just felt way more like routine, and like I'm just like, oh, okay, like just like clocking into work, like, hi everybody.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Literally, because that's the, and you've got your home luxuries around you as well,
right.
which must have been really nice.
Yeah. Everyone's a bit more
You
like
know?
comfortable, and everyone's, yeah, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Oh, that's so lovely. Let's talk about voice acting for a
Mhm.
moment. So you were Supergirl. in
Yeah.
the Justice League animated movies.
Mhm.
What's kind of the biggest difference between acting for screen and a voice acting role?
I think for voice acting, there's a little bit more, at least what you're doing with the microphone, like there's so much more freedom there because I feel like you really have to portray like emotion and what the scene is feeling. Kind of like I was talking about with like singing, like on
Mm,
like for songs and stuff, it's like voice only. And so you're like really trying to portray what the character is like feeling and doing. So I feel like there's a lot of liberty of like different choices. Like there you could do as many choices as you want, like just different line readings, because it's kind of all sometimes it's just like let's run this whole scene for just like the flow of it, but a lot of times it's just like one line here, and you can just do a bunch of different takes. So it's really really fun, and you can just show up in your pajamas, go,
amazing.
um just like record, like laugh, like be as like silly as possible, and then yeah, it's so much fun. And especially for Supergirl was so cool, like doing all the fighting stuff. Um, like they put like kind of like a rough animation together of what the fighting will look like, and you have to go like, huh, 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 for the
Oh,
different things,
brilliant.
which
I
is
bet
so
that was exhausting.
a little bit, yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of water.
A
um,
lot of water, yes.
Yeah, but it's so much fun. And even like the emotional stuff for Supergirl too, like doing the scene where she ends up like, spoiler alert. Well, actually, it's in every like in a lot of the famous comics, but when she like sacrifices herself for
Mm.
Superman, that was like such an iconic scene. And so just being able to do that was crazy, and that was such a cool day. And it was like the last thing that I did, so I was like, wow, this is so cool. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Is it bigger than screen acting when you do voice acting?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I mean, I guess it depends on like what the show is, but I think definitely for like Supergirl and then for like the Zombies reanimated series, like it was high energy for sure because it's like a lot of action, a lot of getting a lot like especially for Supergirl, there's like so many emotions that she goes through. This like specific version of Supergirl. And she's like younger and then she's older, and then there was a clone version where there was like so many different things. So it was like I think a lot of like high energy and a lot of yeah, I think just with like comic stuff, it's like better when it's higher energy. So yeah.
Yeah, higher energy. I love that. I love that. You were in the running for Supergirl.
Yeah.
Would you still love to play a superhero one day? Now, obviously you have played Supergirl as a voice actor,
Right,
but
right.
live action now, would you still love to play a superhero one day? And if so, which one you going for?
I don't know. There's so many. I feel like yes, I would love to, and I would love to be like a live action. I feel like there's so many. It would be so cool to be like Spider-Gwen from the Spider-Verse if they ever do a live action of that. That would be really
Oh,
cool.
cool.
Like Miles Morales
Very
as Spider-Man.
acrobatic as well, you
Yeah,
know.
it would be so cool to do stunts. Like I love doing
Yeah.
stunts. So that would be really cool. There's so many people that I feel like online, and then also my friends who are, big comic nerds like me. I feel like they send a lot of people like, oh, like this person could be da da da, and it's like really sweet. So I feel like I don't know. There's so many. I would literally love to play any superhero like at all. I
Any
think
and all of them.
I grew up like watching all the Marvel movies, and I was
Mhm.
obsessed with them, like the MCU, and so and I just think like being a part of any superhero movie, just like for any like comic book series, would just be so cool. Yeah.
Well, we will watch out for that because I'm pretty sure it will happen one day for you. 100.
Mm.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you speak Japanese.
Yes. Yeah.
That is so cool. That
Thanks.
is like such an insane skill.
Thank you.
Why did you decide to learn Japanese? But also, have you ever had to use it for a role?
Mm, yeah, I started learning Japanese because at my school, there was like exchange students from Japan, and I became friends with them, and like they didn't know any English, and me and my friends were like just friends with them, and I was like, this feels really interesting. I want to like pick up some just to be able to talk to them, and then it kind of just like kept going and going, and yeah, so it was really cool. And yeah, so and then I just kept with it. And I really love it a lot. And I actually a lot of times I forget that that I do. Because I feel like when I was younger, I used to like use it and talk about it more often, and now I feel like I don't as much. So yeah, I need to do that more and practice more. But yeah, and for a role, it hasn't like come up. I think like for a lot of the promotion for stuff, it always helps because then they're like, oh, like let's do like a promotion thing for this in like Japanese or like
Oh,
whatever. And
cool.
so that it has been really helpful and also just like really cool to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that's
That's
where it kind of
amazing.
comes in handy. Yeah.
That's such a kind thing to do as well, to learn that for the exchange students. I think that's a really beautiful thing that you've
Yeah.
done
Thanks.
or did
Yeah.
and now continue to do.
Yeah, I just can't imagine, like, I was just thinking, I'm like, if I moved to Japan and I didn't know any English at all, and like the
Mm,
country is just so different from what I've learned, I would be terrified. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's wild.
Beautiful. What can we expect next from you then? Of course, we know Dying Art is coming out, but is there anything we can expect from you next?
Yeah, no, like Dying Art comes out June 20th, and then Zombies comes out July 10th, and then 11th on Disney Plus, and yeah, and then I think everything else, we'll just have to see.
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll give you a follow on socials. Pre-order Dying Art now. Again, that is on 20th of June. Very, very exciting. I will be pre-ordering. And thank you for joining us today, Meg.
Thank
We really
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much.